What's up, traders? Steven here from the Trading Channel, and today we're going to talk about 5 major pairs. We're going to go through each of these pairs. I'm going to tell you guys where we think they're likely to go based around major levels of structure and technical analysis. Throughout this video, we'll also be giving you guys nuggets of knowledge that can help you on your path to becoming an independently profitable trader, such as how to spot key major levels of structure to trade around, how to identify trend, some of our own trading techniques, and much more. So stick around through the intro, guys. I'll see you directly after. All right, traders, so we're going to start today's video off on the euro dollar. But before we do, I just want to make sure that you understand it's really important to pay attention to the process we go through during these videos. Yes, we're going to give you guys our predictions on the top 5 major pairs, but more important than the predictions or what we say we think these pairs are going to do is the process that we go through. We're going to go through a process of technical analysis that we use each and every day before placing trades, and that helps us to make some really accurate predictions on where markets are likely to go. So we do this each and every week on the top 5 major pairs. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong, but we are right more than we're wrong. So if you'd like to be alerted about these videos each and every week, then you can click that subscribe button right down below the video to the right hand side, click the notification bell, click that like button for me, and we'll go ahead and get started here with the euro dollar. So on this pair, what we have to do during our technical analysis, our breakdown of any chart, is listen to what the market's telling you. These candlesticks tell you a story, right? They're telling us exactly what the market's done in the past. And from that information, using historical data, we can really make a decent assumption as to what the market's going to do next using that previous data, because the market is driven by human psychology and we are repetitive creatures. So what we can see using that on the euro dollar is a chart that from back around April started in this downtrend. We then pushed up in what we call a pullback, pushed down, breaking below structure again. Now, last week we had a prediction that a pullback up into this previous level of structure would provide a good trading opportunity to the downside, and that if we got that trading opportunity, we could see this market come all the way down to 115.33 before a bounce back up. Now, all of these predictions were made before this market did this. I'll put a link in the top right hand corner of this video so you can check those videos out if you want to, but this is stuff we predicted using the techniques that I'm about to show you. So again, guys, make sure that you're paying attention to the process, because if you come to these videos and you just hear what our predictions are for the top 5 major pairs, and then you go out and try to trade around that, you may lose money, you may make money. But if you pay attention to the process that we go through, you can duplicate this process and put it into your own trading plan, use it with your own strategies, and it can really help you out when it comes to creating a profitable trading career for yourself and becoming independent in your trading, which is very, very important. So let's talk about how we made all of these predictions last week here on the euro dollar. Well, we did this by pointing out major levels of structure and understanding trends. When the market's in trend, like I said, these candlesticks are telling a story. They're talking to you. They're telling you right here, pushing down, that this market wants to go lower. We know that because we just broke through structure support levels looking left. Then the market comes back. Where does it come back up to? The previous level of structure support. Puts in a nice candlestick formation, continues in trend to the downside. Then based on our prediction last week, we come up again to what? That previous level of support, where we get pushed down again. So what do you guys think we're expecting out of this euro dollar pair moving forward into this week? Well, nothing has given us any indication that we're going to be reversing in trend at this moment. At this moment, this downtrend looks as though it's going to continue, and we can make an educated guess that that's going to happen. And guys, that's what trading is making educated guesses over and over, just giving yourself that slight statistical advantage based on those educated guesses, and that's what turns into a profitable trading plan and a profitable trading career. So the educated guess for this week on the euro dollar is that this market goes into trend continuation to the downside. The reason we expect that is because this market has not given us an indication to think otherwise. So this market pushes up to its resistance level, what we're expecting. We can see that we're having some type of breakout pattern. And just an extra little nugget of knowledge, most of the time in trend continuation, there's a couple of different ways to take advantage of that. We can either take advantage of trend continuation using breakouts or using pullbacks. Now, what we just discussed, this trading opportunity from last week right here, where the market pushed down, is a pullback trade. What we're looking at right now on the euro dollar is more so a breakout trade, and let me tell you why. What we have right here is a well-known price action pattern called a descending triangle. This market came up, made a high, retested this previous support level, made a lower high, retested the support level again, and looks to be making a lower high yet again. With that being the case, we can see that the buyers are coming in and pushing this market up, but each time they do, sellers push it down before it can reach new highs. And with all of that coming together, with the fact that we know we're in a previous downtrend, we can make an educated guess that this market is going to continue lower, more than likely in way of a breakout pattern to the downside. Now, another way we're going to try to take advantage of this market if we get this out of the euro dollar is that if this market pushes up back to 11844, that's a level we're going to be paying attention to for possible shorting opportunities. And guys, if this market gets back down to the 11533 level, although we're not really looking for long opportunities, this was a counter trend opportunity, this was a counter trend opportunity, but at this time we've tested this level 3 times. The 4th test more than likely will prove to cause some type of breakout to the downside and not another significant bounce to the upside that we can take advantage of with a counter trend trade. So all in all here on the euro dollar, expecting this market to continue downwards and expecting it to do so in way of a breakout or pullback trade. Now, how can we take advantage of those two opportunities? Well, if we get this pullback up to 11844, we can look on lower time frames for possible entries. We can take an entry based on a candlestick formation or something like that here on the daily chart, or again go into lower time frames, taking advantage of possible trend continuation trades down there as well. And also, if we get this breakout, we can either trade the breakout, right, or wait for a pullback up into this what will be a major level of support that could turn into resistance, and at that point take advantage of trend continuation from there. Know that was long-winded, guys, and I'm sorry about that, but that is our prediction on the euro dollar, and that's why we've made these predictions on this pair. Now we're going to go through the rest of the pairs. We're going to go through 4 more pairs using this same exact process of technical analysis, and it will be much shorter for the rest of the way. We're just going to tell you guys what we're expecting out of those pairs since you now already know the process that we use. We'll also show you guys a couple of predictions we made a week ago or so and some trades we've been in based around the same exact technical analysis. So let's take a look at that. We'll go ahead and move on now to our next pair. The next pair we're going to take a look at is going to be the dollar yen. So here on the dollar yen, this is a pair we actually had a trade last week in the EAP Training Program on. And if you haven't heard of that program, there's a link in the description to learn more. It's our more advanced training material that we offer. It's a paid program we do from thetradingchannel.net. Check it out if you'd like to learn more. Otherwise, let's continue here on the dollar yen. So the dollar yen was in a period of consolidation, still is. If we look at this chart right in here, we just have a market that's bouncing back and forth currently. No real trend that we can pay attention to. But as we were bouncing back and forth, we had a minor trend on a lower time frame. This market came up to this level of resistance, then came up and broke that level of resistance before pulling back down. And since we knew that this market had broke this resistance level and was likely to continue higher at least to 110.98, which is where we're at right now, really close to that 111 even handle number, since we knew all of that information, we took this market to a lower time frame, and we ended up with an entry on a lower time frame, pushing the market up to here, which hit multiple targets. Really good trade. I'll actually post a picture of that trade to one of these sides. You'll see a screenshot. This is a trade that we sent out in email analysis in the EAP training program here on the dollar yen. So that's what's happened already here on this pair. Again, like we just talked about, this pair is in a period of consolidation, and here is that level of resistance for the period of consolidation. The market's bouncing around right at 111. So with this being the case, what we can say is that we're expecting this market from this level to have a possible move down, a counter trend move down. Now, you may be asking yourself, why is this any different than the euro dollar? Because for those of you with a keen eye to simple patterns, you can see that this market as well is creating an ascending triangle. The euro dollar was a descending triangle, dollar yen creating an ascending triangle. What's the difference here? Well, the difference here is this is the first time this market's tested the 111 exactly, the 111 even handle number. This is the first time we've got here. We got close right here for a first test, and here is that second test, but really the first test of that 111 even handle. And the important thing to think about here is that the euro dollar has already hit that level 3 times, and this market has only hit it twice. Once we have that third test, and we keep getting higher lows or lower highs depending on which direction the ascending or descending triangle is going in, after that third test, the likelihood of a breakout becomes pretty high. So knowing that, we know that we could still get a possible push down for a counter trend move. Let's explain that a little further. A push down for a counter trend move does not mean that we're expecting this market to hit 111 and just drop like a rock. But we do expect to be able to get enough out of this market from this level to get a small bounce and a counter trend move, which is what we're expecting initially out of this market. And then, of course, as we talked about with the euro dollar, we are creating this ascending triangle. You could say that we have a reversal from this point here. Dollar yen was in a downtrend, started moving upward. We did create lower lows, but no lower lows from this previous support level. So although this is considered consolidation, we have a slight bias to the upside on this pair. So if we get that breakout of this level of resistance at 111, we can also look for a pullback to that level and a possible trend continuation play from that level. So those are the two things we're looking for here out of the dollar yen. If we get some kind of entry reason on a lower time frame right at 111, we're looking for a shorting opportunity. If not, if we break above this level, we're waiting for a pullback to it. That breakout providing us with good trend continuation possibilities. That's what we'll be looking for here on the dollar yen. Now we'll go ahead and move on to our next pair, which is going to be the dollar Swiss. Here on the dollar Swiss, we came up into a resistance level that we've pointed out over the last couple of weeks. This resistance level is right in here. We hit that level and have since pushed down. Now, entering into a period of consolidation very similar to what we talked about on the dollar yen just a second ago. So for this market, it's very simple. We're looking for a move down to 0.9859 or a move up to 0.9975. After this happens, after we get a move to one of these levels, we'll either look for a shorting opportunity from the top level or a long opportunity from the bottom level. If we get no type of opportunity at either of these levels, we'll be waiting on the breakout and pullback of either one of these levels. So very simple analysis here on the dollar Swiss. That's what we're going to be paying attention to and looking for on this pair. Let's go ahead and move on now to our next pair. Next pair is the pound dollar. It's another trade. We had a pretty good trading opportunity from this week in the EAP training program. Or actually, I think that was last week in the EAP training program. Today is Monday. So last week we had a long trade based on this same exact analysis, guys. We pointed this level out at 1.305. We pointed this out a couple of weeks ago, actually, in a weekly market prediction video just like this. After pointing this level out, we noticed that the market came down into this level. We went on a smaller time frame, waited for an entry reason, and this market ended up pushing up. I'll put a screenshot of this trade somewhere on the screen. This market ended up pushing up for a pretty decent profit of a little over 120 pips. So pretty nice trade here. And again, important note is to note that we're using this as a counter trend trading opportunity. When you pay attention to the when you pay attention to the trend here on the pound dollar, it's very obvious that the trend is going down. We're not using these levels as an expectation of a complete reversal in the market shooting up like a rocket. We're using these levels as counter trend bounce levels. A counter trend bounce, if you can get 100 pips out of a counter trend bounce, you're doing pretty good. So from these levels, we make sure that our targets are set pretty small. That way we can make sure we at least get one target and then move our stop to break even and continue that position if possible if we do end up with a reversal, because these levels, they do provide reversal points as well, but we want to make sure we're safe considering that this was a counter trend play in the first place. So looking for small targets on these types of trades, but here on the pound dollar again, we ended up with a pretty nice trade last week from this level. Now, what are we expecting next from this pair? We just pushed up into what seems to be our next level of resistance, which was previous support. We also have this level back here, which is a little more likely to provide resistance because it's provided resistance here, support here in the past. So if the market gets up to 1.325, we're definitely going to be looking for some shorting opportunities from that level. So let's say the market does something like this, we'll be looking for shorting opportunities from that level. If we get another pullback into 1.3055, we'll look down on lower time frames for actual entries. We're not just placing trades based on these numbers. We'll look for entries at this level on lower time frames for another counter trend bounce. Again, small targets looking for a push up. Currently involved in a position, hoping that we see this market continue higher and that we can continue to capitalize on the position we're currently in right now in the EAP training program, the trade we just showed you a screenshot of it just a second ago. And guys, if this market continues lower, we'll go ahead and point out another daily level of support. That level is going to be right here. So if we continue to move down, we have a ways to go until about our 128 level that we're looking at for another possible counter trend bounce. Until then, guys, we're looking for this to be trend continuation and just continue this downtrend, pushing the pound dollar down at least to that level before our next counter trend bounce and probable trend continuation out of this pair. So that's our predictions in the future for the pound dollar, waiting for this market either to get up to this 1.33 level, around that level, a little bit lower, for possible trend continuation play, possible counter trend play off 1.305, and if we get a breakout lower, possible pullback into that same level for more trend continuation plays out of the pound dollar. So finally, after what seems to be an extremely long video, and sorry about that guys, but had a lot to say apparently. Here, the next pair and the final pair we're going to look at is the Aussie dollar. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Oh my goodness, too many lines on the screen. We're just going to delete everything. Go ahead and get rid of it all and talk about where we could see this market go and why. Whenever we clear all those lines off the chart, we can see some pretty prominent levels, right? So if I take my horizontal line, we can see that this is going to be a major level of resistance for this market. The reason it's going to be resistance, guys, is because we know we're in a downtrend, right? Downtrend, further down. We know we're in a downtrend since we're in trend, and also this has provided resistance and support looking left in the past. If we can get back up to this level around 0.7445 on the Aussie dollar, this is definitely a level that we're going to pay attention to for possible shorting opportunities. Now, other than that, what else are we looking for when it comes to counter trend? We actually, I think, just bounced off a really nice level. Let's move this down, and we did. Yeah, we just had this nice counter trend bounce. I think this is a level we pointed out again in a previous video, but we've already made that bounce off this level. We've moved back down to it. If we get a great entry on a lower time frame, we could possibly look at this level for very small profits, very small push up. We're not expecting this level to provide any kind of huge bounce, but possible bounce from this level at 0.733 again is possible to see. But other than that, if we get this breakout down, we can look at that level for possible resistance. But again, guys, let's talk about a counter trend level other than 0.733. If we look left, the next level we're going to be paying attention to for possible support out of this market is pretty low. It's 0.717 right down here. So until then, it's great opportunities to be looking for short trades down to that level at 0.7171, which will be the next counter trend level on the Aussie dollar that we pay attention to. So guys, after that extremely long-winded video, hopefully you were able to gain some value, get some nuggets of knowledge out of that that'll help you on your trading career. If you were, make sure to click that like button. Make sure you are subscribed. And guys, if you're interested in any advanced training that teaches you kind of the entry reasons that we use at these levels and in trend continuation, not only that, if you'd also like to build a trading plan side by side with me, that's what the EAP Training Program course does. During the transition course, in that program, you'll be creating a trading plan with me based around an extremely simple yet effective strategy. We've had hundreds of traders come through the program and come out as better traders on the other side. I'll have some testimonials on the screen of those traders. So if you're interested in the EAP Training Program and learning some more advanced techniques, check it out. Link is in the description, labeled EAP. Trade smart, trade green, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
We'll be right back.